let's talk about skincare trends that do not work. And then at the end, I'll go over a handful of trends that I actually think are awesome and do work. So make sure you stick around. If you're new here, I'm Jordan Harper, board certified nurse practitioner, founder and CEO of a skincare brand called Barefaced, rooted around the philosophy, less but better. I'm all about simplifying your routine, thus simplifying your life. So let's get into what doesn't work, because viral and trendy does not mean effective, but also it can. Number one, the first one, I kind of have like a vendetta against this one because there's like good about it, but there's also like, it's not done well. Skin cycling. So the reason I don't like it is because products like retinoids should be used, and they're studied to be used at least 5 times a week to see changes in the skin. Skin cycling says that you should use your actives on different days, which is fine when you're starting a new routine. So if you are starting new routine, skin cycling is fine to follow, but the goal is that you're using products that you can tolerate consistently. And so that means daily. Like, you should be able to tolerate your retinoid at least 5 times a week. And skin cycling, you're like not going to get the results from the products that you're using. So I just don't like it. It's like, use products that your skin can tolerate on a consistent basis. And so then you don't have to worry about skin cycling. I do believe that introducing a product and introducing products into your routine can be done gradually to prevent some reactions like dryness and sensitivity that is anticipated in some products, and it's actually fine. Your skin will adapt and adjust. But if you don't want to go through that, sure, you could like try skin cycling. But a general rule of thumb, if you're starting new products, just do them every other day. If you're starting retinoids, you can use the rule of 3s, which is the first month, you use it every 3rd night, the second month, every other night, and then the 3rd month, every night. The point is that skin cycling to be used as a long-term solution to how you use your skincare is not good. And you're not going to see the results that your skincare promises you if you're not using them how you should. And that also means you're probably not using products that your skin can tolerate consistently if you aren't only able to tolerate them a couple times a week. Now, if you're using deeper exfoliants, that's one thing. That's all they should be used. But retinoids, the skin cycling says that you should use them like twice a week. Like, what in the world? That makes no sense. So, number 2, and I hope people are not doing this, but I mean, I have family members that do this, so I can bet my bottom dollar that people still are. Homemade skincare. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's 2026, okay? Like, it doesn't have preservatives. I know people think preservatives are bad. No, they prevent bacteria. It doesn't have proper pH control. People are making homemade beef tallow. I mean, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The bacteria alone is just like, no, we're not going to be making homemade skincare. We're not going to be making homemade sunscreen. None of that stuff works, and it's not going to better your skin. I think what's happened is, and the reason why people are trying these like homemade things, yes, I'm crunchy, okay? I'm an 80-20 girl, you know? I like to get Botox, but I also eat organic, you know? There's a thing called balance. Here's the thing. When we talk about doing homemade, like, let's make homemade meals. Let's make homemade cake. Let's make homemade projects with our children, but let's not make homemade skincare. Like, we have come too far to make homemade skincare. Number 3 is a personal opinion. Physical exfoliation on the face. This is a trend that's been around forever. It's probably just like a staple in skincare for some people. But I don't like it because I think there's just too much that can go wrong. And I think it's fine if you're getting a facial. I think it's fine if like you know exactly how much pressure to put on the skin. But I have seen too much go wrong with physical exfoliation on the face. People who have acne or melasma or sensitive skin, they're causing little micro tears, increasing inflammation, increasing pigment. I just avoid it. Like, a chemical exfoliant, and not only that, like, chemical exfoliants are more effective. They work deeper and more effectively on the skin. So I don't even mess with the physical exfoliant, especially on my face. Okay, another controversial one is number 4, beef tallow. Now, here's the thing. This is not an inherently bad product. I think it's marketed as like a miracle product, which it's simply not. We've also just come too far in the world of skincare and in the world of like progress to like use beef tallow. But here's why. And if you want to use it and if you love it, that's great. There's a very, very small subset of people that their skin tolerates beef tallow well, and that's because it's very high in oleic acid and very low in linoleic acid. The typical skin type prefers high linoleic acid and a low oleic acid. I might be saying these words wrong, but the point is that you need a 3-to-1 ratio, and beef tallow is not that. For many skin types, probably I would even venture to say the majority of skin types, it's going to disrupt the barrier, cause inflammation. It's definitely comedogenic. People are over here worried about like coconut oil, which, but like beef tallow, that's comedogenic. Like, and you're putting 100% of that on your face. If you're acne prone, like your skin's not going to like that. Number 5. And I hope you have not spent money on this. And if you have not, I'm so happy. And if you have, I'm so sorry. Number 5, stretch mark and cellulite creams. They don't work. They are not effective. They can hydrate the skin, but they cannot change the skin structure. This is like damage to the dermal layer of the skin. Like this skincare cannot help with that. And the claims around what these products can do is like way beyond what skincare can actually do. So it's just like, don't let the marketing sell you like they are not effective and you're going to be underwhelmed by the results. This is so fun. All right, now that we know that those do not work and we're not going to fall for those trends, what actually does? What trends are actually effective? Because not everything's bad. I'm not against like everything, okay? Double cleansing enters the chat. I love double cleansing. And to do this once a day, you don't need this twice a day, to do this at night is extremely effective to properly prep and cleanse the skin for all the skincare you apply after. The first cleanse, you're using a cleansing oil, a cleansing balm, or a micellar water. You pick one of those, right? You see which one your skin likes best. Then you select a cleanser based on your skin type. So the first cleanse works on getting the day off. The second cleanse works on the actual skin. So you pick a cleanser based on your skin type and your skin concerns. Tinted SPF. Now you might be saying, yeah, like SPF is not a trend. No, you are correct. But tinted SPF is actually like kind of cool because I don't know if you know this, but if you have dark spots, tinted SPF has iron oxides. Iron oxides protect against visible light, which visible light is a very big contributor for dark spots. So by using a tinted SPF, not only are you protecting against UV damage, but you're also protecting against additional pigment. And especially if you have melasma, I cannot recommend a tinted SPF enough. That's a trend I'm falling for. Ooh, number 3, sandwich method for retinoids. Here's my thoughts. You hear about this all the time, like sandwich your retinoids or buffer your retinoids. There's all these little like fun play on words that people try to like act like stuff's new. This isn't new, but it's like a trend that I keep seeing on TikTok. It's actually great. So if you have sensitive skin or if you are not successfully tolerating your retinoid every single night, try the sandwich method. Also try putting it on dry skin, not on damp skin. Damp skin is going to absorb more. And so wait for your skin to dry, put on a moisturizer, put on a retinoid, put on a moisturizer, sandwich that baby in, and just wait. I think you'll be able to tolerate your retinoid much more effectively. Also try the rule of 3s. You would gradually introduce your retinoid so that you can tolerate it better. The first month, you use it every 3rd night. The second month, you use it every other night. The 3rd month, you bump up to nightly. Now you can do the sandwich method the whole time, but the goal is being able to tolerate your retinoid consistently, which is at least 5 nights a week. I just think it's easy to like do something every night. So you want to use your retinoid as frequently as you can to actually see the results of what the product can do. And retinoids outside of sunscreen are the single best, well-researched ingredient for anti-aging and keeping the cellular turnover high. So they're amazing. And if you can't tolerate them, there's so many ways to work around it, whether it's retinoid selection. I love a retinaldehyde. It's much better tolerated than tretinoin and also retinols, but also the sandwich method can be extremely effective to buffer the skin so that you can tolerate your retinoid more effectively. The last 2 are all about hydration, and you're probably seeing this a lot, but slugging. Slugging is something that is going to help prevent transepidermal water loss, which is going to dehydrate the skin over time. Slugging is something that you do at night, and you add and apply an occlusive barrier to the skin as the very last step in your routine to lock everything in to prevent the water loss while you're sleeping. The people that should be slugging are people with compromised skin, sensitive skin, reactive skin, very, very dry skin. The people that should avoid slugging, acne prone skin, congested skin. So it can be really powerful and impactful to lock in hydration. My tip is if you are one of the skin types that is going to benefit from slugging, you do not want to apply your actives underneath. So if you're using a retinoid and then you're putting an occlusive like an Aquaphor or Vaseline on the skin, it can actually intensify that product And so if you are going to slug, just make sure everything you have underneath is very gentle. That way you actually like get the benefits of it. Last but certainly not least, skin flooding. Skin flooding is something where you apply humectants to damp skin, but it only works if you seal it in with a moisturizer. So here's what you do. You would cleanse your skin, or you could even just use a facial mist before, use a hydrating serum. And then while the skin is still damp, hydrating serums on the skin, while the skin is still damp, then you're putting a moisturizer on top of that. That's a really great thing you can do during the day to boost your hydration. Really, I would say applying your skincare to damp skin, because that it can enhance absorption, and then like locking it in with the moisturizer, it's going to help the skin look hydrated and more glowy. So I think about it like this, like skin flooding is going to hydrate and slugging is going to seal. So slugging you don't really ever do during the day. Skin flooding is a great way to like boost your hydration during the day. I hate to say this because I don't like to be boring, but a lot of times like a boring routine can be the most effective. You do not have to change up your skincare routine all the time. And once you understand like how and why something works and how it works for your skin, I feel like knowledge is power, right? And then you can understand, and you're not like chasing these trends, hoping that like you're gonna get this glass skin that doesn't exist. We all have pores, and like what we're seeing on social media is not the full picture. I am telling you, the more boring your routine is, the more effective it's gonna be. You're not using the Core 4, make sure you watch my video about that, because it's the foundation of your skincare routine to build upon and to have healthy skin for years and years to come. This is the only skin we get, so you wanna take care of it. You wanna have long-term skin health, and these trends are just like hits, right? They're hits to get views, and while some may be effective, there's nothing new under the sun. So I like to stick to what's tried and true, and that is Core 4 and keeping it simple. Less but better. Thanks for watching. See you next week.